It's been 1 year since the pandemic started, and unfortunately, people started losing their jobs, and it's really highlighted the problems with the Florida unemployment system. Joining me right now is IT investigator Kylie McGivern. Kylie has been one of our lead reporters on the forefront of helping you navigate the unemployment system and pressing leaders for answers. Kylie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's hard to believe in some ways that it's been a year.
I know, it really is. And Kylie, you have a special piece airing tonight that's really kind of looking back on the past year, also checking in with people and looking forward. So, how are the majority of them doing right now? I mean, are people still waiting for that money? Are they kind of good at this point? What has been your experience?
We've got kind of a spectrum of people. Fortunately, a lot of the people that we've talked with at the very beginning, they are now caught up on payments, but some still have the same worries that they did at the beginning of this worry of what's going to happen next in the sense of, will I continue to get checks on time? Other people that are still struggling to get some of the money owed, because even though there's been some improvements to the system, overall, not a whole lot has changed from the beginning, as we've seen with how much money still needs to be poured in to connect.
So, moving forward, Governor Ron DeSantis has said that he wants to allocate money to upgrade Connect. Do you know what his plan is for that? Exactly what's going to happen? Have those details been released yet?
Not a whole lot of specifics to my knowledge, but I think from my understanding, he's going off of basically guidelines that have come out from some investigations into the system. So what it will be is federal dollars. His hope is that more than 70 million of that will be put into, in his words, modernizing Connect, bringing it up to literally up to speed to where it should be for hundreds of thousands of Floridians who have learned that the hard way firsthand, how difficult it is to get in and to get what you need out of that system. So we're still waiting on approval of how all that money would be allocated, but we do get the sense that there is widespread, agreement that something's got to give here.
Something needs to change to help all these people who are so desperate for assistance at this point. And you were telling me the story you have tonight is really powerful, because you were speaking with one woman who is almost talking about a community that helped lift her up, and it's people helping people right now. Tell me a little bit about that interview with that woman.
It was, I mean, I've got chills right now, even as I'm thinking back on it. I thought it was just going to be a check-in, kind of see how things are going. There was a post that she had on Twitter saying she had just now gotten an email back from DEO of a question that she had had to unlock her PIN literally a year ago. So I just kind of used that as a jumping off point. Like, how have things been? And it the number of times that she, started crying, just this raw emotion, and where the emotion was coming from, she said, is what you just touched on. People helping people. She said people that she knew had nothing to offer, but still, if they got their unemployment check, can I send you $10 for groceries? How can I help? Do you want to talk? And one of the points of the conversation we had that really stuck with me is her saying that at least a dozen people, had contacted her over the last year at different points through this community who had thoughts of hurting themselves because of just feeling helpless in that moment. And she said, this is the reality. We're talking now about moving forward, about putting money into Connect in the system. But the story that shouldn't be forgotten is the real emotional toll. Doesn't even sound like enough of a real descriptor to say what people went through and the trauma that occurred.
Exposing what really happened last year. I just can't even imagine for these people. And to hear that she just received an email back a year later, that just absolutely blows my mind.
It kind of brought her back. I mean, it's like it's almost like what you say with the movies, like we laughed, we cried, but it was moments of her laughing, kind of this, I wouldn't believe it if it wasn't me. And then other moments of, again, those tears. And, we have been with people so many times as they've cried through this, not what's next. And for her, it was really what was bringing that up, she said, was just thinking about how people really came together, and also talked about our team and others who are doing what we can to get people help, and lawmakers, and just seeing that play out and just like really kind of coming back to those early months where it was a dark time for a lot of families and families that continue to struggle today.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, what is your best piece of advice for people who are unfortunately still dealing with the struggles or maybe getting into that unemployment system for the first time, even 1 year into the pandemic?
The key is to be persistent. And I know that may not be what people want to hear, but I think a big thing is for people to know that you're not alone. And I say that, and that we hear from so many who may just be navigating the system for the first time, or may say, I can't seem to get a human on the phone, or I can't seem to get the answers. And some of that is, it's not just you. And so it's not only, us to reach out to try to help, but my biggest piece of advice would be to also reach out to your lawmakers so that they know what problems people are still having. Because when investigations are coming out or when reports are coming out, that is good. And I'm not taking away from that, but that human to human, again, connection of, I'm still not able to get through. I'm still not able to get what I need. I think lawmakers need to be aware of that when they're voting on where to allocate tax dollars.
Absolutely. A lot of work that still needs to be done in Florida. A lot of eye-opening moments this year, I feel. Kylie, your piece airs tonight on ABC Action News, and it will be available online on our website, abcactionnews.com after 6:30 tonight. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.